What is up, guys? My name is AK. Hopefully you guys had an amazing Christmas, but today I'm back with another video. It's only going to be a short one, but I did want to make a video today basically just talking about GAs, so basically explaining what they are for those of you that don't know, and then explaining why I personally I'm not really a fan, and I think it'd be better off if we remove them or certainly tone them down quite a bit. So without further ado, let's jump straight into that. So I want to start by explaining what GAs are for those of you that aren't too sure. Now, GA essentially stands for Gentleman's Agreement, and basically what it is, it's an agreement between players to not use certain things, so certain weapons, certain attachments, certain score streaks, or really score streaks in general at the moment. But yeah, essentially it's an agreement between players to not use these, even though they're not specifically sort of banned on the official CDL rule set. So in principle, I'm not actually against GAs. I think there is a place for GAs, and they do have a use. So for instance, there's been some glitches with smoke grenades at the moment where there's one-way smoke, so one team sees a smoke grenade and another team actually doesn't see any smoke and so can see straight through it. In cases like that, I understand why GAs are in place. It means that things that are essentially broken in the game can be removed quickly without the league having to constantly update the CDL rule set every 2 days to accommodate every sort of in-game glitch that's found. So in that sense, I have no problem with GAs. If they're there to essentially remove broken things temporarily until there's a fix, or if things are genuinely overpowered, so certain guns like the AUG are not going to be fun in competitive simply because everyone would use it, and then that makes for very boring watching. I get why there might be a GA for that, but I think at the moment GAs have certainly gone quite a bit out of hand. But as we're looking at it now, there is actually a GA for almost everything. There's attachments that are GA'd, there's whole weapon classes that are GA'd. There's essentially a lot of stuff that people have just decided they don't want to play against, and it's getting to the point now, quite a lot of it is not things that are broken or things that are overpowered, it's just stuff that people can't be bothered to adapt to play with, and that annoys me quite a bit. Now the argument is GAs are there to increase the skill gap, which I understand. Essentially they want to take things out that bad players can use, so that if a player plays well, it's because they're good and not because they're using anything broken. But as I said earlier, I think it's got to the point now where the things that are being GA'd have no sort of, they don't determine whether a bad player can look better than they actually are or not, and instead, yeah, it's just people being lazy, not wanting to play against things that actually sort of require some skill and some thought to actually come up with a counter to. And this is where I get into my point where I actually think that GAs actually do the opposite of what they do, and they actually lower the skill gap, because all of the innovation that comes with different tactics and different styles of play that people can do, when they're not allowed to do them anymore because either using things that are GA'd or just people are not going to want to play against you because you're not following the GAs, then yeah, you lose all of that innovation from different ideas that people come up with. So just take for instance the tactical rifles. Now, yeah, I agree the AUG should probably be banned, or certainly a GA if it's not. But then you have all of the other tac rifles. You've got like the M16 here. It's a good gun. Is it ridiculously overpowered? No, not really. So why is this GA'd? I mean, we had the M8 in Black Ops 3. We had the M8 in Black Ops 2 as well. Like burst guns can be viable. In fact, one burst guns can be viable in competitive. We know that. So the fact that it's GA'd simply is just because people don't really want to have to play against it. But I mean, a Krig, an AK, they can compete against an M4. It's just people not wanting to have to learn to adapt to have to play with them or have to play against them, and so they really just think it's easier to ban it. And as you can imagine, this annoys me quite a bit because I'm all about innovation. I'm all about sort of changing the meta, like not following exactly what everyone says you have to do and coming up with new ideas. But it's so hard to innovate and come up with new ideas when all of the ideas that you might have, or all of the ideas that you might think to try, either involve GA things, or even worse, if you find a tactic that happens to work, the first thing people are going to do is try and GA your tactic. So it really annoys me, and I think it's got to the point where GAs have definitely gone too far. Now, in addition, I'd add that at this point in the game, when the game's only been out sort of a month and a half, 2 months, this is probably the point when not having GAs is the most important thing to do, just full stop, because you want to learn what's good, you want to learn what's balanced. If from right at the start of the game, certain things are being just completely removed from competitive play, how are we ever meant to be able to try things and try out the new tactics that are going to essentially help us throughout the rest of the year? So what I'm suggesting basically is a very toned down version of GA, so essentially all of the things that aren't game breaking or glitchy essentially removed from GAs, and then I mean this needs to be taken with a bit of sort of a pinch of salt. Some things, like the org, as I said, are not fun to play against or play with, but I really think we need to have a look at the GA system in general and make sure that it's not just becoming things that the top 12 teams, because it does seem to be that it's the top teams of each region that get to decide these things, and quite often, no offence to these players, but these aren't the ones that want to come up with the new tactics, because essentially they are good at playing Call of Duty the traditional way, but it seems to be that anyone that can contend against them playing Call of Duty with new tactics and trying new things, they don't want to play against, because that's not how they got to be where they are in the game. They got to play COD by playing the tactics that sort of everybody thinks is the way to play COD. But we're really interested to see what you guys' opinion is on this, whether you think GAs are good or not, because yeah, it's a tricky one. I think that there is a place for GAs, but certainly the way they are at the moment is ridiculously out of hand, and it's getting to the point now where a lot of teams think that the GAs are so ridiculous that they are not even following them so much anymore, which completely almost takes away the point of GAs being there in the first place. But yeah, you'll have to let me know what you guys think. So sorry for it being a bit of a ranty video so close to Christmas, but I just thought I had to get this out there and basically just talk about the situation and yeah, why I'm not too much of a fan of GA. So if ever you see anything on Twitter about GAs, just know that I'll be on the side, most likely saying it's not needed and that we shouldn't be GAing things so quickly, and instead should give people at least a month or two, or even just a couple of weeks to try and find a good way to outplay certain tactics that people are using. So that's about it for today's video. Let me know, guys, what you think about GAs down in the comment section below. If you like them, please let me know why, and sort of, yeah, if there's any of the points that I brought up in this video that you'd like to argue the opposite for, I'll be very interested to see what you guys are saying down in the comments below. But thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful, or at least entertaining if you didn't learn anything new. But yeah, hopefully you guys found it interesting. If you did, be sure to drop a like, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good one.